Hey, what's going on? This is Virgil Johnson. I'm also known as I.O.A.M, and I want to come to you with this introduction video to this new channel, Infrastructure of a Man. So first off, I want to introduce myself to you all before I get into what exactly is Infrastructure of a Man. So my name is Virgil Johnson, like I stated at the beginning of the video. I'm a 33-year-old male, 7 children, married. I'm an investor, I'm an author, and by trade, I am an idea architect and a thought counselor. As far as when it comes to Infrastructure of a Man, Infrastructure of a Man is a safe haven for men. It's a community for men, and we're here to rebuild men. Our main goal is to help rebuild men, help build up men and rebuild men as well. And we want to make sure that we ensure that real men prevail at every aspect of life. Here at Infrastructure of a Man, we live by 7 core principles. I'm going to give a quick rundown of what our principles are, and then in later videos, I'll actually go into an in-depth explanation of what each principle actually means to us. So the first core principle that we live by here at Infrastructure of a Man is to have a set of principles that you live by and that you actually follow. Really quick, it's, here we're open to all men. We don't have a set preference. We're here to rebuild men. And we know that everyone has a different walk in life. That's okay. But the main thing is, whatever your walk in life is, make sure that you are fully living in that, because that's the only way that you'll be able to actually obtain the things of what you're trying to obtain as a man. Our second principle, or our second pillar, is to be balanced as a man. That means a man can't be in peace at all if he doesn't know when it is to love, or what it is to love, and when it is to hate, or what it is to hate. Our third pillar, or our third core principle, is to have inner peace. That means to make peace with who you are and who you are not. Our fourth pillar is to build a strong house. Now that has many different layers to it, and in the video about building a strong house, we'll go into detail about that. But the fourth core principle or pillar of Infrastructure of a Man is to build a strong house. Pillar 5 or component 5 would be to build and or rebuild your community. So wherever your community is at, whether it needs to be built up from the ground, or whatever community you're a part of, building that community up from the ground, or if you're in a community that needs to be rebuilt, or you know communities that need to be rebuilt, rebuilding those communities. Martin Luther King once said, "An individual has not started living until he can rise above the narrow confines of his individualistic concerns to the broader concerns of all humanity." So you want to build yourself, but you also want to build up those around you. Our sixth core principle or pillar of Infrastructure of a Man is health is wealth. Can't do anything, and you can't be who it is that you need to be as a man if you're not healthy, if you're not living a healthy lifestyle, if you're not making healthy choices. Our seventh and last core principle or pillar for Infrastructure of a Man is to leave a good name on the earth. So once you establish all of those other core principles, your last principle and most important principle that you should be living by is to make sure that the name that you live in this earth is a good name. Going back to touch on the fourth principle, which is building a strong house, that includes children. So your children are gonna live off of your name. So you have to make sure that you have a great name in this earth, so that way your children and their children and their children can inherit something excellent and something wonderful that they can live off of. So here at Infrastructure of a Man, things that we will be discussing is, what does it mean to be a man? One of the main reasons, really quick, that I want to get into, quick sidebar. One of the main reasons that I wanted to start this channel, Infrastructure of a Man, is to show that there isn't some one-size-fits-all cookie-cutter definition of a man. men come in all different shapes, sizes, colors, creeds, statuses, money brackets. There isn't a one size fits all man. Different men can do different things, and certain skill sets will work in certain areas or avenues or arenas, whereas other skill sets work for something different. So one of the main things that I am gonna do on this channel is just introduce to you all different men, so that way, wherever you're at in your walk, you can understand that, hey, I am also a strong man. You don't have to necessarily fit in some type of societal picture frame to be considered a man, because a man has many different views and many different looks. So that's one of the main points that I want to emphasize in this channel, that men, there's a one view look on a man. Men have all different types of looks. We're going to be discussing fatherhood, another one. Being a father, that looks different depending on who you are, where you're at, your parenting style. There isn't one style of fatherhood, but I want to make sure that we showcase the different types of fatherhood. Love, marriage, and relationships. Helping one another out with this, especially in this climate and the society that we live in today. It's difficult, especially as a man. I know a lot of us are like racking our brains, like, what can I do? Like, how can I be successful as a man in love and marriage and relationships when society is all these crazy standards and women have all these crazy standards and unrealistic expectations and all of these things. So these are some things that we're going to talk about as well. Your expectation as a man. Like, what is your expectation as a man, and what does that look like? What does that role feel, et cetera, et cetera. Careers, women, friends, investing, money, all of these things we're going to be discussing on this channel. So I want to make sure that, we're just covering everything in regards to being a man and what it means to be a man and all the things that come along with that. So one of the main things that I want to make sure I emphasize on this channel is practicality and practical ways to improve ourselves as men. So first off, I want to make sure that I put it out there. I'm not talking to anyone on this channel from a high place. As this channel continue to grow and I continue to open up, I'm gonna, share with you all, my story, the things that I'm going through, the things that I've been through, some of the challenges that I'm going through, some of the things that I've overcome, some of the things that I'm wanting to overcome, some of the things that I want to do. I'm not perfect. I don't have it all together. But what I do know is there are a lot of men out here that are in the same boat that I am, and we all just need a space that we can go to support one another. A lot of us feel lost. Even in the world, we feel lost. We need somewhere where we can feel safe at. So one of the main things in this is practicalities, practical ways to improve ourselves as men. So some of the things that we'll be doing on this channel, some of the things that I'll be doing on this channel is I'll be having a fatherhood series where I'm interviewing and talking to different fathers, so that way, once again, we can see what different fathers do and how different fathering techniques work in the world, just so you can see you can be a different type of father, or there are many different ways to be a father, and just get ideas from one another, things that we can try and do, because a lot of times some of us are lost. We just want to figure it out. We need help figuring it out. So that's what we're here to do, to pour into one another. I want to have a husband series. Same thing with fatherhood, like different ways of what it means and what does it look like to be a husband. What is it that can be very, very, very challenging, especially when you have women running around trying to tell men how to be men and fathers and husbands. It could be very difficult, but we're going to make sure we build each other up in being men and fathers and husbands. I'm going to want to have a book club for those of us who love to read, so that way we can be improving in that area at all times. I want to have events. Eventually we're going to grow to where we're an actual group and we're meeting up and we're having sons and father time, daddy-daughter time. We're having men's retreats. We're having couple retreats. We're having spiritual book studies, whether that is Sanskrit, Bible, Quran, yogi, any of those things. Just studying these books. Like I said, we're here for men. Every man has a different walk and a different journey in their life. Studying books also such as the Book of Coming Forth by Day, which is also known as the Book of the Dead. A lot of different books that we'll be studying, a lot of different spiritual aspects that we'll be studying. I want us to do arms training, survival training, investment groups, accountability groups. We know a lot of us have dreams and goals and aspirations, but some of us may not be in a space where we have someone who we can even trust to hold us accountable. Some of us, we may have a spouse, we may have a wife, we may have a fiance, we may have a girlfriend, but we don't want to look weak to her. So we can't really lean on her the way we want to hold us accountable. But that's where brotherhood comes in at. So that's where we'll be at for one another. So these are some of the topics and things that I want to do. And I just to close out, I just want this to be a space where men can grow together. That's what I want this to be. I want this to be in for men, a place for men. And I know there are different places all over and we'll be connecting with one another and growing together. But we as men have to rebuild ourselves as we look at society, as we look at the state of our children, as we look at just everything that's going on is in chaos. And that's because the man is being slowly broken down and destroyed. To me, what a man provides is stability, safety, structure, order, discipline, along with a lot of other things. But those are the main components that men provide and men set up. And as we can see, society lacks discipline, society lacks order, society lacks structure, just everything just all over the place, chaotic. We have to get back to a place to where we have these things in order. Our women need it, our children need it, we for one another need it, this world needs it, our creator needs it. We have to get things back in order, but we have to take the reins back hold as men. So that's my main objective here, is to just grab a hold of these reins of the things that are going on and re-empower men, not toxic men, not any of that, like none of that craziness, none of that entitlement stuff, just strong, supportive, understanding, calm, passionate, forward-thinking men. That's what we're here for. So I will be seeing you all. My goal is to make sure that I am releasing a video minimum 2 times a week as I start getting more into the flow of these things, as I start getting more into the flow and start getting into what it is that I want to release, these different topics, different tools, interviews, all this and that. I'm pretty sure it's going to be more than that, but at the very least, I want to make sure that I'm releasing 2 videos a week. Also, I want you all to make sure that you follow me on our Instagram channel, Infrastructure of a Man. So I'm going to make sure I leave that on the video down below, so that way you know exactly where to follow us at on Instagram. And I just want to thank you all for your time. Thank you all for everyone who's deciding to join in on this journey with me, every single man that decides that they can embark into this. And we will be seeing each other moving forward. So I want to say thank you, and we're out.